Hello everyone and welcome to today's video on object-oriented programming buzzwords. So in this video, I'm just going to walk through all the words and terminologies that are referred to in relation to object-oriented programming in Java. So we'll quickly take a look at each one of these and just browse through the definition. And in the few coming up videos after this, we'll take a look at each one of these in more detail. So let's get started. So as you see, here is a list of all the words that are used in connotation with object-oriented programming. We have class, object, inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, encapsulation, association, aggregation, composition, message passing. We have access specifiers, generalization, and specialization. So all these words are used when you talk about anything related to, object-oriented programming. So where access specifiers fit, or how does generalization and specialization fit? Let's take a look at all those definitions. So first up, we have inheritance. In object orientation, inheritance is a mechanism in which object acquires the properties and behaviors of the parent object. So when the child object acquires the behaviors of parent object, it is called inheritance. Polymorphism is the ability of an object to behave differently in different situations, and it's of two types, as you all might know: compile time polymorphism and runtime polymorphism. Abstraction is the mechanism of representing essential features without including the background details. So you simply hide all the background details that is there and just show what is relevant to the customer. Next up is encapsulation. It is the technique of implementing abstraction, and it is used for access restriction to a class members and methods. So using encapsulation, you implement abstraction. Then association is the concept to define the relationship between objects. Now as you can see here, we have two objects, student and teacher. Now one student can have multiple teachers, or you can have another association where multiple students have one teacher. Now you need to define all these associations when you have multiple objects and classes in your program. Next we have aggregation. It's a special type of association where the objects have their own life cycle, but there is an ownership. So let's say we have a teacher class and a department class. We have an object T1 and an object D1. Now a department has a teacher, alright? So this is a ownership. Department owns the teacher. Now in aggregation, even if the department class tomorrow is deleted, teacher will still exist. That is aggregation. Now more strict form of this is composition. So in composition, the has a relationship cannot exist on its own. Say we have home has a room. So if home is deleted, room will also be deleted. Unlike the previous case in aggregation, when you delete the department, teacher is not deleted. So composition is a more restrictive form of aggregation. Next up is message passing. It's used for thread communication and synchronization in environments where the threads do not have shared memory. So when they don't have shared memory to pass on the data to each other, they use message passing. Next up we have access specifiers. Now access specifiers are one of the very basic and fundamental object-oriented programming buzzwords, wherein you implement all your inheritance and your abstractions using these. And there are four types of access specifiers. We have public, private, protected, and default. Now public is accessible to all, private is not accessible by other objects, protected is accessible within the class and the class that inherits. So like in the diagram here, if you have a class A which has two protected members, X and Y, and the class B inherits this class A. So it will also inherit along with everything else the protected members. And default, the scope is package level. Generalization is the process of extracting shared characteristics from two or more classes and combining them into a generalized superclass. So let's say in A you have some features that are common to some features of B. You take them out, put them together in a class X, the common features, and then A inherits X, B inherits X, and A and B then have specific features. The common ones move to X. This is known as generalization. Next, specialization. Again, it's just the opposite of what we just heard. Say we have a class X which has two different kind of features. So you keep the common features, the generic features in X, and you divide it into two different classes A and B instead of keeping the two different features in X. So the specific details go to different classes A and B. Alright, so that is it. Now let me quickly just take you to a slide that talks about the advantages of object-oriented programming over other programming paradigms like a procedural programming or scheduled programming, right? So object-oriented programming, it first off gives a clear modular structure to the programs. It helps in reusability. It saves the development cost, right? And if you write a program in object-oriented programming, if you follow all the rules of object-oriented programming or all the concepts of object-oriented programming, you design a program with minimal flaws. And also it enhances the program modularity. Now there can be many more advantages of using object-oriented programming over any other programming paradigm, but this kind of sums it up. Alright, you have a clear structure of the program, you have minimal flaws in your program, the cost of maintaining the programs and maintaining the softwares is reduced a lot, right? And the efficiency of the program, some people say that the efficiency of the program also increases a lot when you follow object-oriented programming. Alright, so don't worry about details of all these buzzwords. I just wanted to bring up everything together in one video for you to know what all comes under object-oriented programming. In the upcoming videos, like I said before, we'll take up all these topics in a bit more detail to explain to you what everything is about. Alright, don't forget to subscribe so that you get the notification when the next video is uploaded, and happy coding!